My fantasy come true! I am Butter Toast!
Jet spike boots made the cat talk, it's made the head. You think I give a shit? Your mama is a bitch. I see you in the Sarlacc pit.
Beating it because I got like 90% of the way through,
Yeah.
and that's when my PlayStation died.
Oh shit. Yeah. By the way, I just got a text from Chris. He's gonna be joining us shortly. But yeah,
Right.
no, that Kingdoms of Amalur, what I've gotten so far, it's not bad. You're right. The combat system is interesting. However, I don't like the tree, the skill tree set. I don't like how that's done because it's way. It feels way too. You actually have to choose to be a caster or a brawler or something like that. But
I mean, that's kind of
although
standard.
but the stats on everything, like you can't go into a tree and then all of a sudden you can't use a particular kind of weapon or a.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's kind of just standard though. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, when you start getting away from that, what you're talking about, you start getting away from class based, you start going into skill based.
Mhm.
Which me personally, I prefer class based because I actually enjoy some of the limitations.
Oh yeah, me too.
Because I think it helps define who you are, and I think skill based shit can get out of hand quickly.
Yeah, and the fact that it's open is nice. At the beginning, but I would say after about like level 5, you should already be heading in one of your class directions. And the fact that you can change class every level is annoying as shit.
Well, I mean, the idea was that you can,
What?
the idea was that, it was supposed to be flexible, that you could do anything, that you could be everybody, that you could combine and do as you saw fit.
What's the max level in that game? Do you know?
I'm trying to remember. I know it's enough to go all the way through one like Styles tree, and I think part of the way into another. So like, 50, maybe
Okay.
something like that, off the top of my head.
Okay, I guess 50 is not bad. Did you ever play any of the DLC?
No, I was gonna get it, and it took a while for it to come out, and it was like the Dread Pirate Kale, and then there was a couple other things.
The game's like I said, not bad. Just I wish it had. If you're right, it was set up to be an MMO, and that part fell through. But I wish they had gone in and corrected it and put in like some sort of hyper jump throughout the level, because all that fucking running around makes me want to kill myself. You know?
Yeah.
But I've been having some fun with it. It's enjoyable. And it's got me on that whole kick of like, just one more mission. I can do this. One more mission. God damn it! I'm like right here. I'm like right here. God damn it! And then there goes 3 hours of my life.
Yeah. That's how it works.
Which weapon class did you wind up going with while you were playing?
I played to begin with with I made a rogue or agility based, and
Yeah,
I
same.
did like dual daggers, and
Did you use
that was
the-
pretty fun. And what I was trying to do is I was trying to do all of them on one playthrough by just respecing as I went around and trying different shit. What the hell?
Oh, you're playing a game while we're talking.
Yeah. I'm not really playing. I'm doing some I don't know what the right word is. Upkeep, I guess you could say.
Well, right, but I can hear your thought kind of fade out as
Yeah, well, what I ended up finding up in Kingdoms of Amalur is like when you go through the like agility tree, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And Um, you go through, you got daggers and you got bows. Well, bows end up being so ridiculously good.
Right.
Um, it's not even funny. I mean, it's like when you get the high end stuff, there's like a multi-shot thing you can get,
Right.
and it basically turns your bow and arrow into a fantasy shotgun.
What?
Like, because you're shooting like 10 or 15 arrows, right?
Right.
Well, when you do that, if you're right up close on something, instead of just spreading and hitting a bunch of different people, all of them hit one thing.
Whoa.
So,
Okay, so I'm gonna be working towards that.
and it's really good. The only problem I have with it is it's so good. There's almost no reason to use anything else. So what I found myself doing was just like kiting around until I could, until I was ready to use that again, like or I had a bow pulled back far enough or whatever you want to call it, and unleashing that shit. And it was ridiculous. And of course, then you can also go into I can't remember what the fuck it's called, but like like the fucking like super mode where you build up your fate meter enough.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Actually, I think it's something close to fate.
Yeah, but the fate meter is what you build up, but
Yeah.
it's actually the thing you like. The mode is called like something else. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, I'm not gonna spend the time to look that up.
Anyway, but the idea is that it's balanced with the idea that you're going to be using that anyway because you do so much ridiculous damage.
Right.
So when you know there's a boss coming up or something like that, you want to hold off on it.
Mm-hmm. Although it annoyingly keeps reminding you on how to use it.
Yeah, it's like press both trigger buttons.
Yeah.
Or whatever the hell it is.
No, you're right. It's R L1 and R1. But I'm sitting there. I'm like, all right, I'm holding it for a reason. Quit reminding me that I have it. I'm aware. Thank you. And it's not like it's a little message on the side of the screen. It's like this huge block that takes up your left side, and you're just like, what the fuck? Come on. But no, I'm enjoying the game. It's.
I mean, it was a fun game. It was definitely worth
The PlayStation Plus free.
Well, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it was worth that, but it was even worth. I mean, I bought the collector's edition of it that you had to order from from 38 Studios.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
What did the collector's edition come with?
mine came with there was a couple different. One of them came with like a Todd McFarlane prismatic troll figurine,
Oh, nice.
which I didn't get that one because I don't spend that much money. But I got the one that was like just a little bit more or whatever. Or maybe it might even been the same price. It was just you ordering it from them. And it came with what the fuck did it come with? It came with a set of Kingdoms of Amalur dice, like D&D dice.
Mm-hmm.
And it also came with
It looks like some sort of cards.
it came with a set of fake cards, and it came with what the fuck was it? It came with a soundtrack,
Yeah, poster.
and I think like a map. I think is what it was.
Yeah. That's actually not a bad collector's edition.
I mean, I thought the dice were really cool. That was one of the reasons why I got it.
Oh, I see. So you had the special edition, collector's edition, and signature edition. The difference between special and collector's is the figure and the poster, and then the signature comes with a drawing, and everything's fucking signed.
Right. Yeah, because the prismatic troll was really cool, but I didn't know that was going to happen. She was
So
expensive.
you just got the special edition.
Yeah.
Thomas, you there?
Yep.
Yep. What's up, guy?
Not much.
Wow, you sound so with us at the moment.
Yep.
I don't feel bad about how I feel. I've been kind of like me, you know.
I'm actually feeling pretty good.
Fuck you. Yeah, that.
Drink more, pass out. It helps. Did you play D&D last night?
No, played a few games of Magic, and what else? A few games of Magic. That was about it. Played a few games of Magic, and they were watching they started watching one of the damn kids movies with Harrison, and I played a little Hearthstone because I've already seen every one of those kids movies 9,000 times.
So, go on ahead and watch them again. It's okay.
And then they started playing The Hobbit, and I went on to bed, just because I just watched it the other day, and it felt like sitting up. So no D&D last night.
Oh, nice. Nice.
No D&D.
So what's going on with you, Chris?
Went to see Thor yesterday.
Oh, how was that?
Yep, I'm going to see that this afternoon.
I enjoyed the hell out of it. Liked it a
Everything-
bit better than the first one.
Yeah. I heard a bunch of good stuff about it.
A movie better than the origin story movie?
Well,
That's
the
interesting.
problem
Well,
with
with
the first
superhero
Thor is-
movies is that's kind of actually pretty common with those, because most of the time, if you already know anything about the character, the origin story can kind of be boring for you. Not to mention the first Thor movie felt like more or less a setup for the Avengers than it did a Thor movie. It's like, here's the cube, here's Loki. They're gonna figure big into that, and we're just gonna spend the rest of the movie with Hemsworth trying to get his powers back.
Well, yeah. Can't disagree.
The Odin son.
And not to say that that's bad, but this movie is 100% like Thor's movie, and while it might set up future stuff, it does so in such an indirect way that it's not like you're watching it and blatantly knowing that this is setting up the Avengers or the Avengers 2 or whatever.
Okay. So it's more like a kind of how Shield's happening. Like Avengers happened, they're not denying that Avengers happened, but everybody's just kind of going and doing their own thing. So they've got their individual stories, and then the Avengers 2 is going to happen, which is going to bring them all back together.
I don't really know. I guess we'll have to watch the rest of the stuff coming out to see what they do with it.
Well, did you stay all the way through the credits?
Yes,
All
because
the way
it's
through the
two.
credits.
There's two scenes,
Yeah.
and you don't even have to stay all the way through the credits to get the one that's actually important. The one that's important is like halfway through the
Yeah, I know,
credits.
it's the Guardians of the Galaxy one.
Oh.
But well, the one at the end is important. It's just not like a big spoiler type thing. The one at the end establishes the fact that he's back on Earth, which makes it reasonable for him to be in the Avengers too. If you want to look at it that way.
Well, yeah, but you know that by the end of the regular movie when he leaves. Like, you know that's where he's going. The only reason to have that last scene is to have a few chuckles after you see him kiss Natalie Portman.
The thing
'Cause-
tracing the bird or whatever.
Yeah. It's like, oh, hey, yeah, we forgot about that.
What?
Let's just say that the fight scenes in this movie, to borrow a phrase from someone who's already reviewed it, is like Portal combat. And something pops through, and when they're wrapping up the portals and stuff, everything kind of goes back to where it was supposed to, except for one thing. And then they show that one thing at the end of the credits, and you're like, oh yeah, I almost forgot about that.
Take it, it's a character from the either one.
Oh, it's not a character. It's actually sort of a callback joke to the first Thor, but
Oh, okay.
semi callback.
Nice.
You recognize it from the first Thor anyway.
So, Corey, you said you had subject matter, or what do you want to talk about?
Oh, speaking of movies and such, what I had been thinking about, I actually mentioned it to Chris the other day, was what makes a good movie trailer, right? So there's a bunch of different ways you can go with that. Some of them more obvious than others. And it's not really like a top 5 or top 10, although I guess you could make it that. But it's more about like, because there's different things that are effective for different reasons, right? Like I would argue, one of my top things that always makes a movie trailer like 200% better, for no sensical reason, is anytime they have like Gregorian chanting in the trailer.
As part of the music.
Yes, I mean, no, seriously, think about it. How much more epic does that make it feel for whatever?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Well, I present to you the last trailer for Hobbit: The Desolation of Smaug. Like, feels 400% more epic than the other ones do, just because it's got like Bard the Bowman like reading in a real somber voice, like the prophecy about the dwarves returning to the mountain, and over the background as it starts, like this like Gregorian chanting. You're like, oh shit, stuff's about to get real. You know it's real when the Gregorian chanting comes up. They ain't fucking playing around no more.
Well, you've also got the long hit where it does like the flash on characters, and you can kind of see who the actor is, and then it has that really long pause, and it's like he's back. That always is a good attention grabber.
No. Then you also got the trailers where they don't show you not a fucking thing, but you have to do it very, very carefully. Very carefully. I think the last movie to really do that completely right was The Matrix, to be honest with you. Does anybody remember the original Matrix trailer?
Yeah.
Where it's a black screen and you start just seeing the lines go down, and it keeps going down, and all of a sudden all you hear is, unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is, and then it just goes off. You're like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, no, they did that to quite a few movies actually.
Oh, it's like the teaser to the first Star Trek, I thought, or the first J.J. Abrams Star Trek, I thought was pretty effective. Just like the under construction teaser.
Yeah, that was good.
I don't think
I
I
thought
saw
that
that
was
one.
pretty well done.
When you do one of those, you really got to have some iconography that people are waiting for, which of course Enterprise is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very nice.
But yeah, like while you're on the subject of music from earlier, though, like I think music in general is something that can be done well or it can be done poorly. Like lately, a lot of action movies have that weird like dubstep shit in their trailers, or it's like dun, 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 and it like shows a bunch of flashes and shit, and it's like trying to give you a fucking seizure. I mean, that's not a good. That's to me that doesn't
Epilepsy
make
equals
a good trailer.
excitement.
I mean, that doesn't make me excited. That makes me want to like burn the fucking screen. Like
Just telling you.
that being said, like sometimes including the right material in a trailer is what makes it decent. That first trailer for the RoboCop remake I saw was like, oh Jesus Christ, what? Oh God, this looks fucking terrible. And then the new one they just put out, like they've thrown the social commentary aspect into the trailer, so you can see that it actually does kind of have a message to it. That made it like 20% better.
Too bad it still sucks.
Yeah, I was gonna say it still looks like it's gonna probably suck, especially given that it's like PG-13 or whatever. But like just that choice to show you, hey, this isn't just a movie where we're ripping off iRobot with a white dude. You know, like that little bit like made the trailer that much better. Same goes with that shitty like Hercules Legend Begins or whatever the fuck it is with Kellen Lutz. Like when you put the material in like a lopsided order, that also kind of throws it for people, because like 90% of that trailer feels like it's nothing but like we've taken the gods and the mysticism and shit out of the Hercules story and have basically turned it into Gladiator. Thanks, Russell Crowe. And then like fucking like the last 2 seconds of the trailer, he's like got lightning whips and shit and like super strength, and you're like, where the fuck did that come from? Because he was just a dude earlier, Like this isn't really making sense. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think trailer making is like one of those things where people are good or they're not very good at doing it.
I don't know. What did you think of the Evil Dead trailer when that came out?
Horror movie trailers are like a different breed. You can almost like even bad horror movie trailers can make you kind of want to watch it or curious about what the fuck they're doing.
Well,
Or
the
you
horror
can give
movies-
too much away, like Dark Skies. Like I have a feeling that like the reveal or one of the reveals of that movie was that it was like extraterrestrial based, and then they just like kind of blatantly give that away to you in like the last trailer before the movie came out. I was like, oh, well, okay. I kind of wanted to see it, but
Thanks
Well, I
for
was like,
ruining my.
depending on what kind of horror movie it is too, like they can get by with like spoiling shit more than other things can because all they're showing you is like the end spot of a scare, but none of the situation leading to it.
Well, the,
What they can do though, that's really bad. What I hate a trailer does, and it happens badly in horror movies as well, is when like you know somebody's in danger, but you know they're not gonna die because you've already seen them in a different scene in a trailer where they're alive, so they obviously can't die here.
right.
yeah.
That's like the biggest sin I think they commit when they do stuff. Like, oh, could it be him? Nope, I know it's not because I've already seen the trailer and he's alive.
It's a super action scene. Blah blah noise. And but no, with the Evil Dead trailer, the thing that caught me is because they had the green and the red band one. The red band they showed all the nice fucked up shit, but the green was just this really. You had no idea what was really going on, just some really odd bits and
Excuse
pieces,
me.
and it ended with the fucking girl underneath the or in the basement access, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on?
That's all. What you really need is the family style trailer for Cabin Fever.
That's probably one of the best special features on any DVD ever.
The family movie version, the clean kids version. This is Professor Wiggles. What's he, Professor? Professor being a dog. Eli Roth, you crazy bastard.
That was a ridiculously good movie.
I still give it props for having quite no question about it. It has the absolute best named scene selection of any movie ever created.
Go on.
Finger bang misfire.
Yep. And hold shit. Oh, the rotten fruit special features on that are great.
Yeah. With the rotten fruits.
When they like put the virus on the computer, that people are like pirating the music and it melts their faces off. That shit's gold. Oh, but yeah, they had like an ass ton of trailers in front of Thor. I was like, come on,
Anything,
get to the fucking movie. Because like I've pretty much seen like all of them except for the full trailer for the new Jack Ryan.
Okay.
Shadow Recruit, where they turned him into Jason Bourne.
Yeah, I was kind of, a little bit disappointed in that approach. I mean, it looks like
That's
it
not
might.
who he is.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, it looks like the movie might be okay. I just feel like they could have made a movie about a white dude that was like Jason Bourne and not have like attached the Jack Ryan name to it.
Because it's like a complete reboot. Even like Some of All Fears was kind of a reboot. Although Some of All Fears was fucking badass.
Yeah, it's a cool movie.
But this is like a reboot of the character. Like the first one wasn't a reboot of the character, just of like, we're gonna start with a younger guy. He's an analyst. He kind of gets into some like shaky situations, like almost Indiana Jones style, like where he always seems like he's out of his depth.
Mm-hmm.
But like this one, he's being trained to be fucking like Jason Bourne, basically.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to recreate that. What happened?
Well, I
with
mean,
Jason
they
Bourne.
just hired Justin Lin, the guy who did like the last like three Fast and Furious movies, to do the new Bourne Legacy, the new one with Jeremy Renner,
Yeah.
the Bourne Legacier.
What?
So you know, they got that going on, and they still haven't ruled out Matt Damon and Paul Greengrass coming back, which that'd be nice because
Okay.
those are some pimp ass. Well, I'll rephrase that. The second one, I still think is like, I can barely understand what's going on in it. Like, the plot points and shit are so convoluted and going together and everything.
Uh-huh.
The third one though, they got it right. The third one, they found their stride, I guess you could say. But I don't know. It really does come off as like, you know, look, we can make a Bourne movie too.
Ah, okay.
Which is weird because isn't Kenneth Branagh directing that?
Yeah.
I'm like,
and the bad guy in it.
yeah, oh yeah, no,
Bad
you
guy
can
looks
see him.
cool though.
Yeah, his bad guy sound. I mean, the accent he's got's pretty cool too, and like I was like, oh hey, but why are you directing this? Like I thought you directed good movies.
Not always.
I
Not
mean,
Hey.
the direction might be fine. It's just the topic
Oh,
matter
yeah.
discovery.
Yeah, I guess fair enough. But yeah, like no, I got to see the Captain America trailer on the big screen, which was cool.
Badass.
I mean, I'd already seen it, but it's cool seeing it on a huge screen. Not like it makes me want to see the movie, but I guess it's effective in that it doesn't give away too much of the actual plot. I do kind of wish it gave away some of the plot. You know, other than hey, look, Winter Soldier.
Well, I can already tell you Robert Rivers the bad guy.
Oh yeah, I mean you can tell that just by some of the stuff he says in the trailer.
Well, that and like he gave it away in a fucking interview too. He was like, yeah, he's like, I kind of wanted to come back because like I never had a chance to play a bad guy before. I was like, ooh, Marvel's not gonna be happy about that. Hope that wasn't a secret.
No, you can totally tell from some of the things he says in the trailer that this is not probably a good guy.
Well, yeah, but I'm
So-
wondering if
sometimes
maybe
to build a
they-
better world, you have to tear the old one down first. Like, oh
that
hey,
sounds.
that sounds a little dictatorial there.
Wait a minute, are you making Obamacare?
But fucking the X-Men First Class trailer though, that's pretty badass. Effective use of music. You get just enough nuggets of what the plot's gonna be to you know whet your appetite.
Mm-hmm.
And they've once
And-
again gone back to the what I like to call the Wolverine well, which is that we can't have any X-Men movie not fronted by Wolverine.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, X-Men 1, it was okay. Not enough Wolverine. X-Men 2, all Wolverine. It was fucking awesome. X-Men 3, Last Stand, yeah, tried to make it about Jean and tried to like butt
Whatever,
fuck.
dude. Whatever.
But
X-Men 3 had Wolverine getting fucking Nightcrawler's powers and teleporting from fucking upstate New York to fucking goddamn the Redwood Forest of California instantly.
With no smoke.
Worst continuity in a movie I've ever seen. Ever. Hey, look, it's daytime on this bridge, and now it's not. What? What? What?
Yeah.
Where did that shit come from?
Yeah, we
Is that his superpower? Is this he could change time?
we pretend X3 didn't happen. And actually, depending on what they're doing with Days of Future Past,
It
they might
might
be
not.
pretending it didn't. Yeah, they might be pretending it didn't happen either.
Because
I'm
like,
like,
let me
like,
help
oh,
you out
hey.
with this.
Xavier's a little bit in the future there.
No, they've already
I
stated
seem
that.
to remember.
They've already
Seem to
stated
remember him
that-
being like disintegrated and then transporting himself into like a paralyzed, brain dead body thing.
Well, they've already stated that. I believe it's that one. It takes place after 3, or was that the Wolverine?
Yeah, they all take place after 3.
But with that whole like flashback piece, you've got Xavier in that other body, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do a lot of the portrayal of him as or in people's thoughts as the first embodiment of Xavier.
Huh?
Well, no, the trailer shows Patrick Stewart in
In
the
a hover
future.
chair.
And
I need to
we
go
know
back
that
and watch
Patrick
that.
Stewart Xavier no longer existed at the end of X3 because he was fucking melted.
Oh no, I've got the perfect way you write that into the story.
Oh shit.
No, you'll buy this because this is an X-Men thing to begin with. Xavier's just projecting his old view on himself onto everybody, so that's what they see. He's really in that other body.
Why would he be in a hover wheelchair then?
Maybe
wasn't
he's
that
really
body
not. Maybe
brain
he's
dead?
maybe he's making people see the wheelchair too. Because you know, if I'm gonna make people see me, I might as well make them see me as crippled as I used to be.
Yeah. Stupid
It's
cripple.
Marvel logic.
The other thing that's kind of bastardized when you think about it at the end of X3 is that like he goes to Moira and she's just kind of like this weird, completely different person that isn't Rose Byrne, and probably not what Rose Byrne would look like that many years into the future either, since she looks like she's maybe 40 in
Not to mention that there's
X3,
no
and
reason
she
for
was like
Moira to be there.
30 in 1963.
Yeah.
So in like 40 years, she's aged like 10 years.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, we
X-Men,
just kind
man.
of
People don't age right in that show, ever.
Squishy time.
yeah.
Fucking mutants.
Fuck X3. Fuck that movie.
Tell you, man,
I'm
teleporting
trying to
redwood
think.
forests.
Well,
Although, with as many continuity errors that there are in that movie, I still enjoyed it more than the third Spider-Man.
yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that could be a definite. Although the best part in the third Spider-Man was what I like to refer as now you would refer to it as the Avengers moment. At the time, I just called it the superhero moment, meaning they'd finally done something that they hadn't done before, which would show what it would be like for two superheroes to literally fight together using their powers and shit. Which is the scene with their fight Sandman, where it has like Harry, the new Goblin, and Spider-Man that are all like whipping around and slinging and working together. I was like, oh, see, there you go. They finally decided to show, you know, what two non-humans, you know, or close enough to it, would do like if they were fighting a battle against like a big creature. And like that was the first time I'd ever seen anything like that portrayed on film with any real success to mimicking what it would be like in a comic book.
I don't know, man. Those old made-for-TV movies with the Incredible Hulk with Lou Ferrigno, where he teams up with
With
Thor
Thor.
and Daredevil, because he has
Your
one with
mighty
Daredevil.
fighter with a troll is upon you, banner.
There's the Daredevil one's so great because you got John Rhys Davies as the Kingpin, and the way you know he's the Kingpin is he's got these like bitchin' Kanye West glasses.
And let's not forget
Right, that's how
Daredevil's
you know
dressed
he's
in, like
Kingpin.
black, like a ninja, isn't he?
Yeah, he's like a ninja, and everything he does
Obviously,
has to have a sound to it. It's like, oh dear God. And in the one with Thor, like fucking Lou Ferrigno jumps up and grabs a helicopter and like pulls it back down to the ground, and they forgot to paint the bottom of his feet green. This shit's so epic. But the Thor one's awesome though, because Thor gets some pretty good lines in that shit. He's like,
Fighter, fighter with a troll is upon you.
yeah, that shit's awesome.
It's still not as good as the Spider-Man TVs.
Corey?
Did you die?
Are you there, man?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You cut out. It was like not as cool as the spider, and then it was silent.
Yeah.
And not as cool as the Spider-Man TV series where, you know, he got to shoot out a little rope line that wrapped around a tree and started swinging. He's like, "Give me a push! Somebody give me a push!"
Well, X-Men 3 did the Wolverine Cannonball with Colossus and Wolverine.
The wire work in X3 was so shitty though. It's like, come on, man. This is like watching a bad kung fu movie. Come on. Like the truly tragic thing, like the tragic thing about Spider-Man 3 is how much better it could have been than X3, because X3 was it was destined to be a fucking train wreck without Bryan Singer
Well, that's
to
also
make
what
it
you-
good.
That's also
Fucking
what you get when
Spider-Man,
you've got the,
Spider-Man
company
3,
pushing it.
if you had just done the Harry story, it'd have been a good movie. Or if you had just done the Sandman story, it could have been a good movie. I won't say it could have been a good movie with fucking that 70s show Venom, because they just kind of butt fucked that whole thing in anyway, and like crammed it into the fucking plot.
Sam, and that's the reason why it turned out like Sam Raimi did not want to make that movie at all. At least not being made, like a single bit. He didn't like Venom. He said he's never liked Venom as a character because he's actually kind of boring I mean, he's literally just, supposedly the mirror of Spider-Man, which sounds good on paper and in a comic book. When you're in a movie, it's just kind of like, we need some separate motivation here. And he didn't force him to cram in Venom. I don't know. I don't think his heart was super in it, and I don't think that. I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised if he kind of halfway made a fucking shitty movie, so he could not have to make another one.
Fair enough.
Because like the next one that, when they were thinking about making the next, because they were still gonna make number 4, just like they made Amazing Spider-Man, because they have the license and they're never going to do anything to lose it. But the fourth one was like they kept trying to figure out who they were going to have in it and whatnot, and they couldn't come to agreement because like Sam Raimi wanted to use the Vulture, I think, and
Why?
like the studio didn't like that. They wanted him to use something else or someone else.
They wanted to use a tried and true villain. Venom has his own comic. The Vulture shows up and everybody laughs. That I guarantee you that's the reason they were like, nah.
Yeah, but that's the same reason. That's the same reason people bought those fucking edgy ass Image comics and shit back in the day. Ooh, it's dark and it's menacing. It's the early '90s. Fuck that shit. Fuck Venom and his comic. Bullshit ass Todd McFarlane.
I think Venom's
Needs
a
to go
good
fuck make
character.
some goddamn figures and quit being a whore.
The only cool thing about Venom is that he spawned Carnage, and then Carnage had the cool Maximum Carnage
Nuts, fucking
series.
crazy.
Oh no, I didn't like the character per se, but the Maximum Carnage storyline was pretty awesome.
Where all the little Carnage babies are being made.
Plus, the thing about that is they would never be able to make that movie and do it any kind of justice because it involves so many other Marvel characters.
Yeah. Hold on one sec, guys.
The skyline of New York City in the last Amazing Spider-Man movie.
That
And they
sounds
couldn't
more like a
come
Marvel.
to some kind of fucking agreement over it or some shit.
Yeah, that putting Stark Tower in the Spider-Man movie makes more sense on Marvel's end because, or at least in my opinion, it would be Marvel that would be trying to say, "Hey, look, they're all in the same place."
Right, and
Because that's a
you would think
big
that
thing.
that Sony would like that too, because that would just get more people to go see their movies for no other reason than the Easter eggs tying it in.
Mhm.
But my thoughts is it probably came down to something to have to do with licensing or money or some shit. They didn't want to give them a certain percentage of this or that or
I don't know.
something of that nature.
Well, wouldn't they also have to put in the Baxter Building and make reference to what's going on in Hell's Kitchen and all that stuff?
fucking.
They're doing Hell's Kitchen.
That's right. Obviously, Wes isn't up on it.
No, I'm not.
Marvel made a deal with Netflix. They're going to do 4 13-episode TV series direct to Netflix. One for Daredevil,
Uh-huh.
one for Iron Fist. What up?
Nice.
One for Jessica Jones, and one for Luke Cage. Or they call him Power Man.
Are they
Sweet
gonna-
Christmas.
Is there
Don't fuck with Luke Cage.
is there a
And then
possibility
they're
of
going to have all
crossover
3 of
to
those
Shield?
lead together to their little mini, TV Avengers movie, The Defenders.
Oh,
And it's going to be just dealing with it's going to be like a mini series, The Defenders, and it's going to have those characters in it, dealing with the flawed heroes of Hell's Kitchen.
I love how it's like the not cool version of the Defenders team too, because they're like, well, we kind of want to save those characters for something,
Well, I
worth
mean,
money.
well, you can't get
well,
Hulk.
Doctor
the
Strange.
sad
and
thing
Nick
is though,
Fury-
the Defenders were always the not cool version of the fucking Avengers.
yeah, I know, but
Doctor
you can
Strange, the Silver Surfer,
the Hulk.
Namor the Submariner.
I know, but see, those characters are still
and
infinitely
the Hulk.
cooler than, like Daredevil and Luke Cage. I mean,
Well, maybe I'll give you Luke Cage, but Daredevil's a pimp. Maybe
No,
not.
I like Daredevil. Good character.
I've never been that interested in Daredevil. He felt like a poor man's Spider-Man.
I think that's
Daredevil was really good when Ed Brubaker was writing him. Daredevil is one of those people you got to have somebody that writes a comic book Daredevil's best when he's not too comic booky, if that makes any sense. When he's a little bit more grittier, when he's a little bit, closer in line to like the Punisher almost. Not literally the Punisher, but
Right.
a little bit more realism. He's served better that way, I think.
Yeah. Chris, you there, man?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
It almost hung up on you. No, I enjoy I enjoy Daredevil because he's a poor man's Spider-Man, but his superpower is just to give him a little bit of an edge on basic skill, but he's kind of got the
his superpower is to lawyer you to death.
yeah, pretty much. But he feels almost like the Batman character out of Marvel. He does have a superpower, but then again, his superpower is kind of like disposable. So if you gave him his sight back,
I would say Tony Stark's the Batman character of Marvel.
Okay, then
Since Batman's superpower is being rich.
Rich.
Let's be honest, that's his superpower, is that he's
Yeah.
rich.
okay, then maybe
Which
the
is why
Arrow-
I've never liked Batman particularly, because
Batman is the Wasp of Marvel. By Wasp, I mean white Anglo-Saxon person.
I mean okay, I mean, like, here's the problem I have with Batman. A lot of people are, like, defend it, and they're like, well, yeah, but that's exactly what makes it cool, because he's on the Justice League, and he doesn't have powers. And I'm like, yeah, but how lame is it when the stock market going bad can take away your superpower?
Well,
Oh shit, the Dow Jones dropped 1,000 points!
Damn you, Riddler! Damn you!
Batman's now become Rodent Man because he can't afford the Batman outfits anymore. He just runs around with a hoodie that has ears that he got from Hot Topic.
oh,
Come on. Like, Batman, the character is like this house of cards that, like, if you push it the wrong way, it just, like, collapses.
He's the world's greatest detective.
I mean, but there's nothing like cool or unique about him. At least with like Ollie Queen, you've got a motherfucker that dresses like Errol Flynn, Robin Hood, and goes out and shoots a bow and arrow. As cheesy as that is, at least it's unique. Batman sneaks around in an outfit and does karate. That's like every white superhero ever. I'm gonna go do
speaking of-
karate.
Speaking of Ollie Queen, Arrow's on Netflix now, right?
Yeah, I've been
First
watching
season.
it.
Okay,
So
so
good.
that's a pretty fucking boss ass show.
Yeah,
It
it's
really
pretty-
is.
Pretty cool show, and I like how they like don't pussify the character. If he wants
Especially-
to take somebody out, he does.
Especially in the first season where he kills literally somewhere in the neighborhood of 5,000 people. Neck snapping all day, every day. But
that
in the second season, I'll go ahead and spoil for you a little bit. He tried to kill as many people because of some shit that happens at the end of the first season.
I think
But he's still shooting people with arrows. So
well,
Still pretty
Um,
brutal.
I think thus far he's only killed about 10, 15, 20. Because
in what? In the whole series?
No,
that's wrong.
no.
He
In-
kills like
No,
20, he kills
That's
like,
in the first
there's-
episode.
there's like a scene in one of the episodes about maybe 2/3 of the way through the first season where like he has to like raid this compound where he knows he's not gonna be able to get through whatever, and like the bad guy like watches him. He tries to raid it the first time and they run him off, and he goes back the second time for like a suicide run. And I shit you not, they tell you exactly how many people he kills. He kills 20 people. He just goes through. You just see him just getting shot,
No, I
killed,
was
and
talking
everything.
about in
And then he
season
gets
2 so
inside.
far.
And like the bad guy's waiting there with a gun for him, and he goes to reach back to his quiver, and he comes up with him, and he's like, yeah. He's like, I counted how many arrows you keep with you last time, so I made sure we had 21 people here. I was like, your weakness is that you didn't have a big enough quiver.
No, I was talking about in season 2 because is it 3, 4, 5 episodes in right now?
They're like 4.
Yeah, and the only one that I think he actually killed a bunch of people is when he was going after the mayor. Because
But see, they
were
don't make
shooting
it.
at
They
him.
don't make it super obvious anymore either. Like, I mean, in the first season, he's literally snapping fucking necks.
Oh.
There's no doubt that motherfucker is dead.
Well, yeah.
So now you can't even
Or
the one
yeah,
that
like-
might be dead.
When somebody has an arrow sticking out of them and they're laying on the ground not moving, you can probably assume that they're dead because normally your response to being shot with an arrow is, ow, ow, Jesus fucking Christ, ow. If you're not making any noises, chances are I'm just going to go ahead and say you're probably dead.
Well, and they didn't even try and hide it by like, well, he could be alive with the arrow coming like what appears to be out of his shoulder. No, a lot of those arrows were like dead center chest through the heart. It's over.
But so yeah, that series is pretty banging. A lot of people say it's cheesy. I mean, it kind of is, but like it's always fun. It doesn't slow down.
I like
they haven't got
his
bogged down.
I like his semi Punisher like aspect they've given his character. It's like, whatever the fuck your name is, villain number 22.5. You failed this city.
I was talking to somebody last night, and they just recently started watching it, and the review that they quoted, and I hope I get this right, is that got them interested in watching it. Is the review said a character this bad shouldn't have a show this good.
Well, see,
and it's
I
like
call BS on that too because I always used to love Green Arrow. So, but yeah,
that's a compliment.
I hated Green Arrow. I always thought he was cool. Like the outfit, the way they drew him for the longest time in the comics, and the way he sometimes still gets drawn is kind of cheesy. But I mean, really, it's no cheesier than a Green Martian or a fucking dude that swims, talks to sea animals, or like communicates. I'm sorry, he doesn't talk to them because they don't have a language. Actually, I actually like Aquaman the way they've been writing him since the reboot that they did. Like, what was that?
I like the reboot they did on him like half a decade ago, where they made the new guy Aquaman, and the original Aquaman, Prince, whatever the fuck his name is, that I can't remember off the top of my head, was like had been transformed into like basically Gandalf in that story. He was like leading him and shit. And the new kid that was Aquaman, like it was like a real fantastical type story. Because like the idea was that all these places under, it's his own country, it's his own land, and they have their own places and shit. And they really set it up like it was like a fantasy story. They have their magics and swords and seahorses.
Yeah, and see that stuff's kind of cool when it's its own isolated story. But then when you like try to bring him into like the Justice League, so much of that stuff gets left out. Like that he's just a guy that's there that typically only gets drawn like swimming and shit. Like I don't know. I like Aquaman. I just feel like there's not a whole lot for him to do sometimes.
Oh, definitely.
Fair.
Although, like, them beefing up his strength and his like ability to jump like Hulk style and shit in the reboot, like at least that kind of that kind of thing like gives him something to do when there's not water. Well, which is nice. Plus, he has badass armor.
So basically, what you're saying is what they've done with him now is basically turn him into Goku, right? And so when he's not underwater, he can jump really far because I've had to spend my life practicing against the weight and pressure of this water. So it's like Goku training on like the fucking like heavy plane or like in Heaven or whatever the fuck it was, Dragon Ball.
With King Kai.
Yeah, there you go. Aquaman is Goku. Aquaman is from they fixed it. He's from Dragon Ball Z.
And instead of a staff, instead of power pole, he's got his trident.
Power pole. That's a pretty powerful pole. It's got 3 ends to it. All the
and
ladies
like his outfit now is like this. His outfit now is this like scale armor that's like super hard armor.
So did he learn Spirit Bomb underwater?
Plus, in his own book, he's got his like hot mermaid girlfriend too. So
is it
it's
Mira?
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Arrow,
look at that. See, it's been like a bajillion years since I've read for Aquaman. I still remember some shit about that lame asshole.
Hey man, Aquaman's cool. Like especially the way they've rebooted him.
Yeah.
And the way they're writing him now is cool.
Who's writing it?
Shit. Who did they put on it?
That's normally the key is when you put somebody worth a damn.
Yeah, I've got the book somewhere. Hold on, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go find it.
What was he talking about? Aquaman? I'm sorry, yeah. I tuned all that out. It's Aquaman. I mean,
is Aquaman
gentleman. The one? Did they also have to add Atlantis in that story arc in order to keep that going?
That's where he lives at.
Okay, I know they did it with Namor, and I wasn't sure. I don't keep up with Aquaman. Every time, the only thing I can see is like the 70s cartoon where
Super Friends.
Yeah, that one. where he's swimming around and you see like I'm telepathically talking to dolphins, but he's always like standing there in the background, and I swear to God, he's always the first one to get knocked out. It's like, oh, you're here, done. Let's keep going. Superman, you're gonna be a challenge. Why? Because you have this strength.
There we go. Found the box. I had yet to unpack my comics. Not that I had that many, because I stopped being able to buy them.
Just steal them online like I would do if I wasn't too lazy. Attention, NSA. I didn't actually mean that. I'm not stealing anything.
Yeah, you're gonna do one of those like Facebook announcements that if you post to your profile, no one can copy your information. I love when people post. I'm like, why are you even bothering? That shit's not real. All right, who is doing Aquaman now? Oh wow, I have a whole bunch in here that I never even got to read. Holy shit, something just beeped. Hell was that?
Oh, that was me.
Wes is fiddling with things.
I am. I touch things and then it screams and I'm like, I'm sorry. And I run away silently. Disappear into the shadows.
Alright, come on now. Aha! Jeff Johns.
There we go.
Okay.
See, here's what I was getting ready to say. Literally what I was going to say. Before you I was going to say, normally if you want to save a series and make it good, you put somebody like Jeff Johns on it, because he's the guy who can save any series. And lo and behold, I was right. That's exactly who they fucking put on it. Like, I knew that was going to be it. Because like he can make anything good. He's that fucking good of a writer. He understands how comic books work and what we want from them, while taking stuff that's old and getting your fan service in, but also doing something new. He is literally almost a perfect comic book writer. He just finally left Green Lantern after writing it for God knows how many years. After bringing it back and going through all this stuff and making him pertinent again.
Who's the current Green Lantern at the moment?
Oh, they went went back to Hal Jordan with the reboot.
Okay.
In the main Green Lantern book anyway.
Well, it was see, Green Lantern was weird because Green Lantern was like the only series that didn't like
it didn't reboot.
Completely reboot.
Yeah, because Sinestro's still there. He's still like kind of bad, although the story they were going through, because I had
like
the
he
first
ended up
few
being
issues.
good. And
Yeah,
like
like
he had to save Hal and
yeah, because he's the one that gives Hal the ring back. He gives him a ring that he makes but he can effectively take the powers away from him, which is kind of cool.
because of guard over or some shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember. Like, I don't know exactly what happened. I know that like
Never trust little blue dudes. That's all I'm saying.
I just know that he had like been stripped of his ring and shit, like, which is an aspect of the story that didn't get rebooted apparently. That struck me as kind of weird because like he's rebooted, like Hal's kind of rebooted in the Justice League that's also in the New 52 because he just kind of shows up and there's no Sinestro plot, there's no him like having to worry about his ring and shit.
Well, like the Justice
kind of
League when it started, I know was taking place like 5 years earlier than all the rest of the DC universe. I don't know if that had something to do with it or not. I know when it started, though, like the Justice League was taking place 5 years before the rest of the books.
Except for Superman, because Superman's books are a little out of whack too. Because you've got like the Action Comics one, where it's like him just starting out and he's like wearing jeans and work boots and shit. And then there's like the actual Superman book, and then there's Superman and Justice League. But yeah, like I really hate like I love Ryan Reynolds to death. I hate that he has forever tainted Hal Jordan because that's how they write fucking Green Lantern in the Justice League book now. They write him like he's fucking Ryan Reynolds.
So basically what you're saying is they write him like they used to write Flash when the Flash was, Wally.
Well, the Flash is still written to be kind of like funny.
Yeah,
I
but the
guess.
Flash is Barry Allen again though now, isn't it?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Uh,
Um,
I liked Wally. I was always a fan of Wally.
yeah.
Barry was like super goody two shoes. I mean, which is great. He was like an all around wholesome guy. Wally was too, but Wally was always kind of like a little, funny and not necessarily 100% serious all the time.
Huh.
And then they brought Barry back from the dead, which was sad because he had one of the coolest deaths in the history of comic books, and he had stayed dead for like going on 30 years, which is amazing. And Flash has always been a legacy character.
How
So
did he die?
Kind of. Oh, Barry Allen. Barry Allen died on Crisis on Infinite Earths back in the 80s. He
okay.
he had to like run in a giant circle like repeatedly to keep like the damn universe from collapsing on itself or some shit.
Right.
And he had to run so fast he basically like disintegrated, melted away, saving the universe.
Wow. I have those books. I should sit down and read them.
But then they worked it in with Wally when Jeff Johns once again came on the Flash and introduced the Speed Force and shit and everything. Like Barry would appear to him every now and then randomly because like what had happened is when Barry was running, like he had broke through like time or whatever, and what it was is, to you the reader and Wally, he would just show up randomly like, but Barry told him he's like I'm going to show up like he's like the fucking ghost of Christmas Past. He's like I want to show up 3 times in your life at important events, and to help you and blah blah blah, and so.
The
what had
ghost of
happened
Spandex Past.
yeah, when he was running around saving the universe, he broke through and popped through into those timelines or whatever for a little bit. Is the idea?
Huh.
Because time's malleable, blah blah blah.
Well, and that
But,
was kind of Flash's big deal. It's like, okay, you can run really fast. Now what? Time. He can fuck with time. Yep.
Flash is going to be in this season of Arrow, by the way.
Oh shit.
Nice.
Okay, so they've added.
They've actually given 2 clues if you were paying attention in like the very first episode of Arrow. In the background, one of the TVs, and the TV's just loud enough so that it's distinctive enough that you can hear it, which is unusual because normally they're just mumbles.
Yeah.
But like.
Well, they did a slight focus on it too. No, I remember the scene you're talking about.
It says it's like and news just in. It was like in Central City. Wah, 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 Central City.
Yeah, I
It was
heard him make references because
like in
then
Central
later
City,
on.
the particle accelerator is almost finished. I was like, particle accelerator, well played.
Yeah, no, I caught that reference. I didn't know if that meant anybody was going to show up, but there's also a reference later on when like Tommy's going to take what the fuck over her faces to Coast City. I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you-
hey.
Do you think
Yeah,
they're gonna
Hal.
try and build
Get a little bit of
Flash
Hal
show?
there.
You think they're gonna try and build a Flash show?
Oh yeah, supposedly what I've heard is you're going to see the Flash probably in the next few episodes, or at least the initial appearance of what he could be,
Right.
and then he'll be gone again. Then he'll pop up again, like towards the end of the season, around like episode 18 or 19, for a backdoor pilot. See if they can start a Flash show.
Ah, okay. I wonder how they're gonna do his power because you could fuck that up really easily.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, obviously they're trying to. I don't want to say ground it, but it's the particle accelerator as opposed to a magical mixture of chemicals in a lab and being struck by lightning that caused it.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and you've got my biggest concern with Flash is like the character's okay. I love him as a supporting character around other characters because he's really funny. He brings a lightheartedness, but he's got that wholesome bit to him. So he does a really good job of balancing out like let's be super serious. But his really interesting storylines always involve like some sort of galactic thing or universal thing or time travel or something on that enormous scale because of the way his power works.
well, I mean, the only thing I can figure out is if they do it with him, they've already decided they're going to do like a full-fledged superhero show and not like Arrow where it's kind of trying to straddle the line between, making it more normal. Because you can't have the Flash without having supervillains. Not really. I mean,
Right.
or else
Yeah,
how
because
could
the
they possibly...
Flash versus bank robbers would get really old after like 1 or 2 episodes.
Right.
The Flash versus a mob. Ooh, you've got a machine gun. That's cool story, bro.
Too bad I can dodge your bullets.
You can do a mob boss, but it has to be like, I don't know. Who are they using right now for Batman Origins?
Oh, they were using like
Black Skull.
Black Mask.
Black Mask. Yeah, you would have to use like a super gangster villain, somebody who's above the like, I'm gonna be a bad guy. It's, I'm going to mass murder everybody because I want $5.
And see,
Well, yeah,
I
but
don't
I mean,
know.
you still have to have somebody that can contend with like the speed because
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, you can have someone who's batshit crazy, but versus speed, there's not so much. I mean, like, the Joker versus the Flash is still kind of a boring. That's kind of a boring fight.
Well, you could do it to where the Flash is trying to just his villain winds up being other superheroes that are just new. So he could run into the Green Lantern, he could run into Hawkman, he could run into Marvin Martian, things like that. People who
Marvin Martian. He's gonna fight Bugs Bunny.
Marvin the don't you mean
yeah.
Martian Manhunter?
Martian Manhunter, sorry.
The Flash! I'll get you with my big gun! You'll never be able to make it away from me.
No, you're right. Martian Manhunter.
I can see it. All I can picture now is like a Flash show made like Adam West Batman. Wait a minute, Marvin. You'll never get away, Flash. Not with my superior Martian technology.
But to God damn you. To have him go up against other new superheroes, people who are not visible yet. I think that would make sense. You just
Just as
introduce
long as it's not Marvin. I just picture him there with his little Spartan helmet.
That's so fucking awesome. Shit.
And then they can have Super Bunny from that Looney Tunes cartoon where he drank like the magical like carrot juice. Do you remember that? Do you remember that episode?
Yes.
They could call it Duck Dodgers. The 23rd and a half century. I think you're oldest of the West. We've got a hit on our hands. Keep in mind, this is the guy that's getting ready to go to the Comic-Con in a couple hours. You know, that dude is green. Marvin the something? I don't know. He's from a planet. He's from like Krypton, right? Jupiter? Jupitonian?
I'm not that familiar with DC characters at all. Like, I know they exist. And Batman's impossible to avoid. But
Says the man who loves Batman.
No, I enjoy Batman. Like, I have more, or I know more story arcs on him than anybody else, but I would say he's the character a bunch of people would prefer to write because you can be dark as shit, and there's a lot of just little storylines. Like, I'm not a big fan of the main story arcs. The ones that travel
I still
through
love Hush. Hush is
Oh
good.
no,
Oh,
Hush
hey.
was amazing.
While I'm on it, because this goes back to something we talked to earlier, I've not really kept up with the news on Captain America so much, but are they bringing Falcon in? Is that
Yeah,
what I
he's
saw in
Andrew
the trailer?
Andrew Mackie or whatever the hell his name.
Yeah. No, I saw him in the trailer, and then I saw like the wing thing he had on. And I was like, They have Falcon possibly in this movie.
Yep.
Falcon Punch.
That's right.
So is he
Falcon.
gonna be in like? Is he gonna play a part in like the next tier movies, or is he just like showing up as kind of a?
I would wager
Not-
against he's probably just going to be in Captain America unless like he ends up being crazy super popular, which I don't see happening.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a Falcon. I mean,
I
Hey
think
man, don't hate on the Falcon. He's cool.
mhm.
He's cool.
As opposed to Falcon, I'd rather have fucking Wass's face from like the Hanna-Barbera cartoon. What was his damn name? Do you remember? Birdman. Yeah, Harvey Birdman. That's right. That's what I need. Harvey Birdman.
I need.
That's the real good version of the Falcon right there.
Does anybody know when Ant-Man's supposed to come out?
That's the first so far and only announced staged or Phase 3 movie for Marvel. So it'll be after the Avengers 2.
Okay.
Isn't it like
So-
April 2015 or May 2015 or some shit like that?
Something like that. They don't even have a person to play him yet, although I've heard rumors of Paul Rudd, but I don't know how that'll go.
Well, what about that trailer they showed in Comic-Con? What?
Oh, the little teaser they put together. That was
Yeah.
just, that was just a thing they put together. It didn't really
Oh,
have anything
just
to
a-
do with,
Just to try and show like how they would.
yeah, like
Ant-Man.
a proof of concept type deal.
Yeah. Because I haven't seen it. Then again, I haven't looked for it since they released it at that con.
Well, that's just like nobody's seen the Warcraft proof of concept trailer that Duncan Jones did either. Like they seem to be keeping that shit under wraps. I thought it would have popped up on the internet after BlizzCon this weekend, but it hasn't.
Well,
Hey, did you hear that they're finally putting
Draenor.
Did you hear they're finally putting in the new character models that they've been working on for like 4 expansions now?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
What's
Now that
really
no one
sad-
gives a shit about WoW anymore, we can
What's
put
really sad though, here's the sad part. This is like the content of the expansion actually kind of twinged at my heart a little bit, maybe want to play because I loves me some lore. And so since it's like fucking alternate universe time travel back to fucking like Draenor, like without them being corrupted by the damn demon's blood or whatever. You're having to like fight all the like super famous fucking horde leaders and plus other people. And so that kind of tickles my Johnson. I was like, oh damn, that kind of makes me want to play fucking Warcraft. God damn it.
Yeah, it does. And even now that you know that they've got the
And I can
they've
level
got
up
the
to
happy
90 for
button, right?
free.
Yeah, they've got the happy button that instantly makes any of your characters level 90.
You only get one though. You only get one because it's tied to you buying like this. So what you'd have to do to get more than one is you'd have to buy multiple copies of the game, set them up on different accounts, and then transfer accounts to get them all together. Because they're not adding it to the store yet. They said they hadn't decided whether they were going to add it to the store. I was like, yeah, whatever, you're adding it to the store. Stop lying to yourself.
Yeah, because there's so many levels now that it's a bit of a burden to level up characters.
But well, if they were smart, what they would just do is make it so that like it scaled, meaning those levels were faster. It took less experience.
Oh,
or
they
whatever.
have. They've done that
Before.
like multiple times, and they've added the heirloom items you can get that give you extra experience on top of that.
Yeah, but see, the heirloom items assume that you're going to have a character big enough to get them to begin with. What if you're just starting? They need to make a way for you to be able to get the heirloom items as not. Or do like they do with Lord of the Rings.
Well, the
Every
heirloom
time a new
items.
expansion comes out, when you pre-order or whatever, they give you like a little pocket item or a trinket item that gives you like plus 25 or plus 50% experience while you're wearing it.
I don't know. I mean, if you're a brand new player, though, like the extra experience you would get from the heirlooms still doesn't make up for the like number of places that they've downright like cut how much experience you need and boosted how much experience certain things give you. Like it's entirely possible now to level through just sitting in a city and clicking the random battleground queue once you're like level 10 or whatever, where you can get into the battlegrounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible to do that. I've seen people level from like level 20 to 80 in like 3 days doing that.
I don't doubt it. I also saw that they were going to
Plus, there's always recruit a friend, and if you recruit a friend, you and the new person both get experience point boosts.
but the hell? Oh, it's bad. The other thing I noticed was they're literally doing what they used to pick on for doing, which is like giving plus gooder stats. Is that they're doing that because now what's going to happen is when you're when you switch specs or whatever, the stats on your equipment automatically switch to the stats you need for your spec. so you don't need multiple sets of equipment anymore.
Huh.
I always thought they should do that anyway. I mean, it's just kind of a
It's convenience. Is what
yeah.
it
I mean,
is.
it's convenience. I mean, there's
They're
no
doing
reason
that,
to make people,
um,
especially with people that have like a utility off spec, where it's like they don't really want to play that spec, but they do it just because people need them to heal or need them to tank or whatever. It's like,
I'll-
but I like playing Rhett. Well, we need you to heal. God damn it! Now I've got to have a healing set and shit. So I mean, it fixes that issue, which is nice.
The other thing I saw that they were doing, which is kind of funny because they've only done it for like an expansion now, which is they're retuning item numbers, like stat numbers. You know, like where in Cataclysm all of a sudden it went from being plus 50 to something to plus 5,000.
Yeah.
Now they're squishing it back down again. I don't know why they just didn't not do that to begin with, but
Well, the percentage system would work better for me. I mean, even if you have to have your like low level items be something ridiculous like 0.02% crit, I would still rather read that than 40,000 crit rating, which
they're also
which
supposedly
then you
getting rid
like,
of
look at your character and see that it only bumped it up by 0.02%.
they're getting rid of like what else did it say they were getting rid of? They're getting rid of like hit and expertise and like dodge and shit like that as far as stats on items. They're like that shit's boring. They're like we're just going to try to bake that into the classes, I guess is what I got from it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think they were trying to get rid of avoidance shit like period except for like tanks. Like they were going to bake that into what tanks do, I guess.
Oh yeah, they had already started moving that way anyway by making like the warrior stances and like the death knight presences or whatever they're called, like the shit like that. They were already baking in most of the defense stuff into that. You know, the only other thing was that some of it popped up on the items, but yeah, I
Yeah,
mean
but-
they're right because that kind of stuff is boring, especially like the hit and the expertise because those become mandatory stats.
Yeah, that's all they are.
So,
yeah. I mean,
If you're looking like if you're just hitting level 90, not all of your gear has like hit and expertise and shit like that on it, and it's a lower end item, so it's not budgeted to have a bunch of different stats on it. If you're looking at it and you've got two pieces of plate and one of them's like plus 5,000 hit rating, which doesn't do anything really other than determine your ability to hit something, and then something that has crit, which means you can get big, pretty fun numbers, you're going to take the one with hit because it's mandatory, not the one that's fun, which is the crit item. So I mean, I kind of get their decision there. I mean,
oh yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I just thought it was funny that they're, well, I mean, they're getting rid of it. It's fine. I see no problem getting rid of that because, like you said, all that is mandatory bullshit. Everybody has to have.
which means it should just be baked in anyway, because like how lame is it to have a character that can't hit something?
But what I thought was silly was the fact that they're scrunching the numbers back together again. I was like, well, why
Yeah.
the fuck did you make them bigger to begin with? Because they go through the point of saying, all right, we're going to squeeze these numbers, but it's not going to change how powerful you are. We're just changing the numbers. You're still going to have the same relative power. I was like, why the fuck did you make them bigger to begin with anyway then? Because all numbers are is just, a placeholder for what you can do. So why would you just choose to make them bigger? Just
Well,
so
I
people
always-
think
I
you're
always
getting
thought
powerful?
I always thought they should have just stuck with the percentages instead of the ratings. The only reason they still use rating is because they can tune how it affects a character. Like
Well, I'm not even just talking about the ratings. I'm talking about,
4,000
like
crit.
agility.
Oh yeah,
strength,
yeah. Well,
all
that
shit.
too. But like for instance, 4,000 crit rating for like a cat druid might be 2% crit, whereas for a rogue, if you don't want them to get as much, it could be like 1%. Like that's the only reason they started using rating in the first place. And also because of some weird perceived notion that like if you played with percentages, the only way to make a percentage look bigger is to jump it drastically, like 2% to 4%, and then items are just broken because eventually your like tier 12 items have like fucking 8% crit and shit on them. But I would much, like I was saying earlier, I would much rather have an item that says it only gives me 0.2% crit than have one that has like this obscure, meaningless rating number that the only reason I know it gives me anything is that I have to equip it and then see how it changed my crit. Like, it should just tell me 0.2% or whatever boring tiny little number
They're they also
that
said
that
they're
it
adding in
is.
some other shit. Like they're trying to give more interesting stats like that. They're getting rid of that stuff, but what they're replacing it with is shit like life steal, where a percentage of your damage gives you health back. And what was another one? One of them was called like I think the other one was called like avoidance or something. But what it does, it gives you a chance to absorb and not take AE damage.
Hmm.
And there was a third one, but I don't remember what the fuck it was. I can literally hear Wes falling asleep.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Whatever, dude. It's gaming news. Get over it.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm not saying a word, because that's a game you guys know fuck ton about. Me, nope. Fuck that game. Just.
I am kind of sad I'm missing out on the fucking Hellscream raid.
Oh, the fucking where they fucking like he like injects himself with like demon juice,
Yeah, the Siege of Orgrimmar raid.
and then like they beat him and like Vol'jin becomes the war chief.
Yeah.
But
Spoilers.
that's it, yeah. Woo. But that's how they're leading into the next expansion because apparently when he's on trial, you know, for his war crimes, he gets freed by some kind of ally or something of his, and like that's where like he goes back in time to like stop the horde from like being jacked up by the demons because he believes they'll be more powerful, which they are, and like but he links his dark portal that he's opening not to the like he goes back in time. This is how fucking confusing this is. He goes back in time to Draenor before they drink the blood of Manaroth, right? But when he's trying to, like, he like forges them into the Iron Horde or whatever, or like, you know, is a catalyst for it. He's supposedly not the main bad guy. He's just the catalyst. But what they're doing is when they go through the portal, they're going to go through the portal into the past, like where they first invaded back during Orcs versus Humans or whatever. They've linked the portal chronologically to current day Azeroth, so he's going to invade current day Azeroth with them. To which I say, isn't that stupid? Isn't that stupid, Garrosh? Aren't you being dumb again? Wouldn't it be better to invade back in the day when they weren't nearly as strong? Wouldn't it? Wouldn't it though? Really? Why would you come after like, dude? Come on, go attack them bitches while they're level 60. Don't attack them when they're level 90. What's wrong with you? Come on. Just saying.
I love how you had to use the level numbers there.
Yeah, you know, just saying.
Or shit. Actually, at that point, if you attack during Orcs versus Human, you're attacking before most of the people are
Level
even
30.
born.
Level 30.
Before most of them even exist.
You're gonna get in a fight with fucking my boy Anduin Lothar. That's right. What up?
Oh, I'm downloading Rift through Steam, by the way. I don't know. It may even actually be finished downloading and installing. I left the computer on the other day, so you might see me hop on that
Nice.
soon.
I haven't played in a little while. I need to get back playing. I just got caught up and got busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
But really, I need to get in with my Arkham Origins Deluxe Ultimate Gigantic Box Collector's Edition that I bought and play that a little bit. Probably it's still sitting in the living room, pretty much unopened.
Pretty much. What'd you do? Like,
Well, I opened it to see like what little stuff it had up top. I'm thinking like the entire gigantic bottom section is the huge like Joker statue.
Gotcha.
But yeah, like I opened up the documentary and popped out because it comes with a little DC Comics like documentary about the supervillains and shit, and I got the little ultraviolet code for that so I could add that to my UV library. But other than that, like I put it all back in the box. I haven't had time.
the reviews on it have been okay. They don't say it's bad, but they just say like it's more the same from the first two, but it doesn't feel quite as I don't know, good because like since it's the whole city now and it's just I don't know, they just said it just didn't feel quite as cohesive.
Does
Well,
it does it, or have you read any reviews where they've stated that, oh, you can tell a different company made this?
Well, see, that's what I'm wondering. Like, they say that it's pretty, the combat and stuff still, as it is and whatnot. But it just seems like, I guess you could say a new company made it just simply because it's literally more of the same with not a whole lot, if anything, new. If that makes sense.
Well, right. I mean that.
Like they didn't go out on a limb, at all, so to speak.
Well, I mean the company that did do it, fortunately, was given all the stuff by the original company that made the first two, so they had all the character models and all that stuff, and the combat system, and didn't have to recreate any of that. I'm just
kind of disappointed that I haven't gotten my Aquaman game yet, or my Green Arrow game, because those will be fun. You could do a Green Arrow Origins video game.
Maybe.
It'd be the same, but it'd be cooler because you'd have a bow and arrow. Just saying.
It'd be an indie game, downloadable. Everybody's gonna give a shit. Why isn't it as good as the shit on CW? I don't know.
I didn't know he did a voice in Injustice, Gods Amongst Us. Does he do the voice of Ollie in that game? Like, does it sound like the same guy? Because I've not played Injustice.
I haven't either.
Are you talking about the dude? You talking about what's his face from Arrow?
Yeah, he does a voice in Injustice. I would imagine they would get him to do his character, but I could be wrong.
That would be cool. I do know Kevin, what's his face, Conroy or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He does a voice in the new Arkham Origins, but he doesn't do Batman. He does somebody else.
Yeah, which is weird,
I guess, because they're like, we wanted to make sure that they were younger and their voice sounded different. Everybody else is like, what the fuck ever, dude? Just get Kevin Conroy. Don't be a d-bag. Pay the man his money.
Well, I'm gonna let you guys keep doing what you're doing. I gotta get ready to.
I gotta run off.
Go to my shit ass job.
The con.
Wes has to get ready to go to the con.
The con and not miss. Yeah, I showed up 30 minutes before the end. Before it closed yesterday.
Because
I'm like, I'm gonna try and do some shit. I'm gonna try and do some shit before I go, and then I'm gonna go up there, and I got all the way there, and I was just like, motherfucker. Okay, I gotta go early tomorrow.
I should probably go ahead and buy my tickets for the 2014 one, which I think is going to be back here in like January. I should probably go ahead and buy my tickets now while I have money.
That way when you get it, you can post something like a Vine or post it and be like, "Con!"
Well, I will talk to you guys later. I'm gonna hit stop on this. So you're listening to the Nerd Method Podcast with West and
Chris.
Yay, you got it this time. You can get in touch with us on... Fuck, what's the email? I forgot. You forgot too!
Let me make sure I know what it is without fucking it up. I have it on my phone.
I believe it is nerdmethodpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, methodpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, just email us if you want to talk to us.
You might want to re-record that. That's a clusterfuck failure right there.
I think it's a nice intro. I really think it's a nice intro. Oh.